Hello, ages and thrivers, family caregivers. Good morning, good evening, good night, Dr. Lana. Welcome back to Lana's Little Things with me, specialist gerontologist, and we're going to talk tonight. It's night for me. We're going to talk. Our topic is going to be on grief and dementia. Is there things that you ought to say, that you should say? That is there a right way or wrong way? Exactly how do you explain death to someone in your family? If death is in the family, and there's a person with dementia in the family who's been close to that person, how do you explain that person should, when if that person passes, how do you explain it to the person with dementia? That's what we're going to talk about. So buckle up and remember to like and subscribe. Share this with a friend who might be going through this at the minute, or you just never know. Life is so unpredictable, and you may be able to help someone to get through a grieving process. Now, welcome back. So as and in sharing, I always say a problem shared is a problem halved. So remember, all of your comments and likes and subscribes, they all spread, the algorithms spread to other persons who might be in need of this information as well. You just never know. It's just the more we can help, the better we are together, the better for everyone. So let's get right into it. That was just the initial bits. What I want, we've talked about grief. As you know, my family has been personally struck with grief twice in a very short space of time. And it's been a lot to process. And can you imagine? We think about children and how they process death. But there are members of our family with dementia who are early or mid-stage or later. And one often wonders growing up, how do you tell it to them? Are they going to even understand what you're saying? And sometimes it seems as though they have no emotion, and persons get upset by that. So I wanted to clarify some of the things that I've done in that the research has been very helpful in making its wonderful suggestions. And so you can look up some do's and don'ts and what to do. We'll just cover a few things because it is a huge subject, but there are principles. Some of the principles are how and when to disclose the grief, to disclose the event, the death, listening with empathy, listening for the words that might come out strange, but listen for the emotion behind the words. So that's what empathy is, putting yourself in their shoes, hearing the emotion, not necessarily the words that they're saying. Allowing them to grieve, allowing them their space to grieve, how they grieve, and being patient when it seems as though they're asking you over and over again, has the person died? Where are they? What's happening? But I told you they died. Remember, this person, your loved one, has dementia. The likelihood of them remembering you told them last week or week before is not gonna be relevant for today. So we're gonna just go into a bit. But what I wanted to say is respectfully, and this is something that we've spoken about, everyone handles grief in his or her own way. That is the same with someone whose cognitive impairment, whose memory impairment, to whatever extent it is going to be different with them as well. They're going to manage it maybe how they would have in the past, combined with the fact that their brain is now processing everything in a different way. So, my favorite expression, grace to the space. So remember, it's not about how we think they should be responding. It's just holding space for how they react and adapting our response and adapting our empathetic response and being kind with it. It's not about us. It's about that. So remember, we talked about how we're going to do it. All right. So the person is passed. And let's say in terms of, this is not a distant relative or a distant friend who lives overseas and they've not seen for years and years and years, and you're gonna just drop it on them when you get the news. Oh, mom, dad, uncle or auntie or great grand, some auntie died in Australia. Had they seen the person recently? Did they have a relationship with the person? Did they have a connection with the person during the time that their dementia's progressed? That, from what the research and all the suggestions are, might not be something that you'd want to tell them, because it may just create upset for no reason. They will have no closure. They have no recollection of the person. They know death is accompanied with sadness, and so they'll just be sad, irritable, agitated for no reason, looking for someone whom they haven't seen, whom they don't remember, but who's dead. So we're gonna put that on the back burner. We're talking about someone with dementia who's lost a spouse, who may also have been their caregiver. They may also have lost their caregiver. Oh boy, has that happened. How many times do we know the caregiver has gone and the person they're taking care of is still there with the dementia progressing and so on? And you have a new whole set of events. So the morning the caregiver is gone, the spouse is gone, or their close family member, son, daughter, like first degree, niece, nephew, that person's gone. How are you going to, and they know they're gone because there's a person who may have called, who was there every day, who visited, who brought meals, who took them to appointments, whom they saw, whose face they know, and they're no longer seeing this face, and you'll hear them ask the question, but where's Jane? Where's John? I haven't seen them. Bear in mind that will happen. I mean, it's going to happen to us. But remember, this is how you're going to do it. Not, and when. So we'll pick a quiet time. Bear in mind that many times it's not so much the grief that they might be showing you. In fact, they might be showing absolutely no emotion. You're thinking, don't they care? No. That's just in the brain, the process is different. So some persons will come across as if they're apathetic, they don't care, they don't mind, nothing's changed in their universe. Much has changed in their universe. What they are unable to do is articulate it or bring it out in words and phrases that you can make sense of. That's why we want you to listen to the emotion behind the words. So it really requires a quiet space. One person suggested to tell them the news, not the whole family descend on them, which is overwhelming in itself. Can you imagine 5 people coming around you to tell you one really sad news? No. So the one who's closest to them, after the spouse, after the person, the caregiver, whoever it is in the family has died, the next person who's either brave enough or feels that they can do it, or who is closest to the person with dementia, let them do it. But pick a quiet time, a calm time. Don't put sundown in because they're already agitated. That would not be a great time. They're not going to absorb it anyway. So a quiet moment, quiet time when you're at peace, you've had your tea, it's time to, it's a bright day, or it's evening time and sundown hasn't started, but you're there and you call and you say, I'm coming, and they're happy to see you and you start off with a good memory. Be honest, so you pick the time and the place. Next, how do you do it? Just keep it simple. Mom, Dad, John, Jane has died. You use the word died. Or if it's your culture, you may say passed away. But in medicine, we're always told, tell the direct truth. It sinks better and it sinks with less uncertainty and less fog. So the person has died. You don't even have to say how. You just say they've died and I'm so sorry. See how that has landed. If it's landed with what you perceive as apathy, don't take it personally. That's their way of trying to process something that they have not had to process in a long time. If they respond with tears and grief and wailing, and just give a hug, a touch, and I'm sorry, empathy. Every creature responds with empathy. We all do. And so a hug, a touch, as they process that, Even if they forget in the next hour or so and they ask another question, just be there present moment at the time. Again, it's the emotions behind the words, because they may not be able to say exactly how they felt. They certainly not may not be able to go into the past and say, "Oh, I remember when." And that's another thing. So you've picked the time, the place, the person, the atmosphere. You've gauged their mood. One thing that is suggested as a not to do is to say, "Oh, remember when they used to take us out for rides, or they used to bring flowers for you or cook for you." The person with dementia may not remember that. So that creates a sense of confusion. It may create a sense of shame within them, and you can see their face change because they're puzzled, they don't remember, and then you may start to say, "But remember," which really no, they're not remembering. So let's just keep it simple. No long explanation. No lot of long talk, as we say here. Just gauge where they are and respond with empathy and kindness. Listen to the emotions. Keep the same simple words. There's another one more bit. So that's what, 4 or 5. It's not all tidy, and you may have to redirect and so on. But that brings me to the last point. When appropriate, redirect them to. You may show them pictures. If they recognize them, fine. That would be nice too. But don't go necessarily into reminiscing. Just let them see the picture, and then they ask you again, "So and so's dead?" And I know how so many persons with dementia, you've told them that their relative has died, or their friend has died, and they ask it of you again. So, "But I told you they died. Remember I told you they died." No, just for them, it's a new experience. Every time they ask you, they really didn't remember. So just say, "Yes, they have, and we're so sorry." Just take it as they bring it to you. We talked about, the last thing we wanted to talk about was the distraction or redirection. I don't want to call it distraction. Redirection. When appropriate, after you've relayed the account, you've this seen how they reacted, you've had your bonding moment, your moment of explanation. Even if you've had to say the same thing again, just say it with the same simple tone. But it would be a good thing then to redirect, go into a more positive place. So you want to refocus them on something that made them smile. You're not trying to push their feelings into a corner, but you recognize, "Oh, they're in a different space now. So it's time, maybe we can redirect." So you say, "Well, let's have some juice. Let's have some tea. Or let's go watch some television, or let's look outside and watch the sunset, or let's get ready for bed, or if it's morning, let me get your breakfast." Or if possible, you may be able to take them for a ride, a spin in the car, or whatever makes them smile. One flower from a garden can say so much. One hug can say so much. You just want to redirect them so that the emotion doesn't linger and become a source of distress. Persons with dementia have feelings as well. They're not able to articulate it, but they feel it. And sometimes that's worse, because it feels as though it can feel for the person as though the body, as though there's something trapped inside that I have to get out, but I don't know how, but where can I go? And so they will show in different ways, maybe agitation, irritation, withdrawn, not eating, not drinking, not wanting to talk to anyone. All those are little signs that they have absorbed the grief. They recognize there's grief. They know someone's gone. The body knows they've gone. And the brain now has to make sense of that while it's trying to make sense of the world around it. So again, grace with the space, empathy goes a long way. So I just wanted to say, keep it simple. No two persons have the same way of responding to grief. Dementia is its own special area, and gentleness, empathy, simplicity go a long way in processing of grief, as well as won't say closure, but at least an understanding that something has ended, but make sure that they know they are okay. And if they're not in late stages and they're wondering, well, did I do a good job? Was I good? And you did the best you could for dad, you did the best you could for mom. They're at peace, they're quiet, they know you love them, you love them. And again, give a light touch, a hand hold, a hug, and say, I'll be back. And come back for them. Let them grieve the best way they can. Hold space for it. Hold space while you hold for your own grief. And let us all heal together. From my heart to yours, this is a process. This is not a one-off. And it does require some effort, some forethought, but it ultimately requires empathy and love. And who can say no to that? That goes everywhere. So again, from my heart to yours, Dr. Lana, good morning, good evening, good night. This is, it's not straightforward, but it can be done. Mwah.